let's run it. Charts up, we love it. Backpack, we done it. GM, good morning, we run it. Sunrise hits like a highlight reel. Coffee poured, yeah, this grind feel real. Wallet looking healthy like a post-gym meal. Crypto fam locked in, no off-day deals. Throwing shade, now we throw confetti. Market bounce back, hands strong, we steady. Dreams too big, so the doubts feel petty. Bull mode hitting, hope you're ready. We ain't stressing, we pressing, blessing the session. Turn every rejection to fuel for progression. Charts look clean, yeah, the vibe is a weapon. We build every day, this is compounding lessons. GM, we rise, we go. Good morning, crypto, steal the show. GM, get hype, let's grow. Another day up, yeah, we glow. Hands to the sky like let's get paid. Chase big goals, not just upgrades. GM bowl energy all day. Smile up, we're built this way. No fear, just flips and vibes. Turning old dreams into real life strides. Hard days hit, we don't divide. Team eats together when the market rides. Tap in early, that sunrise hustle. Bear tried to break us, couldn't touch muscle. Stack small wins, that's compound muscle. Every new block, another flex, no struggle. Climb fast, no breaks, no doubt. Big cheers when the green breaks out. Crypto fam in the chat, full shout. We don't clock in, we break out. Oh! 3 a.m. we rise, we go. Good morning, crypto, steal the show. GM, get hype, let's grow. Every candle's just fuel, let's blow. We don't watch life, we make waves. Another sunrise, another brave day. GM fam, let's go be great. Good morning, crypto. Press play. Wake up, smile, send it.
Step 1, wake up early, gon' rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge of financial freedom. Looks like my light's just a little bit bright right now. There we go, got it adjusted. Well, we got several news articles to talk about today. We've been warning about it over and over and over again here on Piper Academy, the recession risks for 2026. And now we're not the only people that are talking about that and warning about it. We're seeing some mainstream economists really start warning about recessions in 2026. So we'll get to that story in just a little bit. I do have a visual aid to kind of go along with that, kind of see where your state might be doing on those risks of recession. We've also got another news article to talk about with crypto and banking. But before we get to all of that, let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today, because we are seeing some movements this morning and seeing some big moves as well. We've got Apple looking towards the downside this morning after a very red day yesterday, down 0.14%. Nvidia, extremely hard sell-off yesterday, almost 4% to the downside, looking a little bit green this morning, up 1.22%. We got Berkshire Hathaway sitting down 0.23% this morning. Amazon sitting up 0.78 so far. We've got Eli Lilly continuing on some sell-off, down 0.33%. Looks like its winning streak is now over. It was having a very nice run for quite a while. We've got ExxonMobil sitting to the downside as well. Was up very, very close to 2.5% yesterday. Looking like it's down 0.44% right now, and we will kind of have to see if it sheds just a little bit more. Tesla, also one of those big losers yesterday, down over 4.5%. It is looking a little bit green this morning, up 1.32%, but we will have to take a look at that chart because I was seeing a few things over there, and with all the rumblings of SpaceX going public, you might see a little bit of movements over on that Tesla stock. We've also got P&G sitting a little bit down this morning as well, down 0.4%. We've got Microsoft looking quite neutral off of its close yesterday, a little bit green this morning, up 0.66. We've got Google up 0.97% after a very red day yesterday as well, down 3.14%. And we've got Meta sitting up 0.61% after a red day yesterday as well. Crypto side of things, looking quite like the stock market. You do see Bitcoin making a little bit of a reclaim on some of those levels it lost. But look at this giant red bubble. We've got Leo token was down 31%, sitting down 30.3. We've also got Hype, double-digit losses, down 10% right now. Scrolling on down, we've got Bitcoin looking just a little bit green here on the daily. We've got a lot of these projects looking green on the hourly, except for Bitcoin Cash and Leo token. So Bitcoin sitting up 0.7%. We've got Ethereum down 2.1%. We've got BNB down 2%. XRP down 1.6%. Solana sitting down 2.2%. We've got Tron down 0.6%. Dogecoin sitting down 2.7%. We've got Cardano down 3.5%. Bitcoin Cash sitting down 1.3%. Chainlink down 2.8%. Under $13. You know, we warned about some of those lower levels there, and we're really hitting on some of those with some strength. We've got Stellar Lumens down 1.9%. Hyperliquid, like we said, down 10.1%. We've got Litecoin sitting down 2.9%. Both Stellar Lumens and Litecoin taking spots in the market cap from Leo token, with Leo token down 30%. It lost 6 spots in the market cap. Few of those from some stable coins, but Stellar Lumens, Hyperliquid, and Litecoin both getting those spots from Leo token. We've also got SWI sitting down 4.2%. For our fear and greed meters, no surprise, we're back to some fear on the stock side after a very red day yesterday. And the crypto side of things, no surprise, still sitting in some extreme fear. We did get that nice little push towards the upside, rejected off in the midline of that fair value gap, and then right back to where we started. So we will kind of have to see if we can find some support, really start grabbing up some of this top side liquidity. We've got some resigning right above 90,000, 90,900, all the way down to 90,500. So kind of keep your eye on that area. If we can find some support in our local range here, we can get a little bit of a push towards the upside, start grabbing up some of that top side there. We do have a little bit towards the downside as well. Once you've zoomed this on out just a little bit, we've got some liquidity down at $85,000. Kind of keep your eyes on that. If we fail to hold some of our current levels here, we could very, very easily come back down, grab up this liquidity to get that push back towards the upside. We have been ranging sideways. We called that out back at like the end of November, that the rest of 2025 could just be a little bit of a sideways range where we grab up top side liquidity and grab up downside liquidity. Pretty much what we've been doing, and we will have to see if we can keep that up for the rest of 2025 here, and then see what happens into 2026. We do still have a little bit of liquidity towards the top side on this 1 week, pretty much that same area we were looking at on that 1 day there. Zoom this on out just a little bit further here, and this 2 week also looking quite similar, where we've got a little bit of liquidity towards the upside, a little bit of liquidity towards the downside, and that next real area to kind of watch for is going to be closer to the top side of that range at $95,000 there. So let's get over to that Bitcoin chart. Oh, actually, let's take a quick look at that economic calendar, because we do have a few things very, very early this morning that might give the markets a little bit of a push in one direction or another. And that's going to be the Bank of England's interest rate cut, and then the European Union's interest rate cut. So kind of keep your eyes on that. Looking like the European Union is going to be holding the rate steady, but widely predicted that we are going to be getting a little bit of a cut for the Bank of England. So keep your eyes on that. We've also got CPI coming out today, so definitely a big market mover first thing in the morning. That's going to be at 8:30 Eastern time. Keep your eyes on that. A lot of volatility this morning. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart. Say good morning to the people in the chat. We've got JR in here. We had Army Piper first in the chat this morning. It's a little bit different to see him in the chat, but I guess since he's in a different time zone, he's probably sitting closer to midday than he is morning. So hope you're enjoying your vacation, sir. We've got JR a second in the chat this morning. We've got Rug Pulling Rabbit, aka Jay, in here. Elkis, good morning to you. We've got Eric Ballin Wallin. If you're not following him on X, you're missing out on a lot of laughs. He holds people accountable, and he does it in a very funny way. So make sure you're following him on X. We'll see if someone drops that in there. If not, I'll have to get that link pulled up, and we'll start sharing that out. We've got Steve Hickey in the house this morning. Good morning to you. Let's see who else we got in here. We've got Darren Does Things. Good morning. And Conspiracy Crypto in here. Good morning. We've got a few lurkers in the background and a few lurkers over on X as well. Good morning to all of you. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's dive into this Bitcoin chart, see where we might be heading next, because we did talk about a little bit of downside liquidity and a little bit of upside liquidity, and this daily's at an interesting spot here. We've got Jack Trades in the house. Good morning, and he's saying good morning to all of the lurkers too. So good morning, Little Fish, as well. Good morning. Nice to see you here. Let's see what's going on with this Bitcoin on the daily, because we found an interesting spot here. We did lose our MACD indicator line, but we've got lots of sideways momentum. We seem to have found a little bit of a bottom on some shorter term time frames. Bitcoin looking schlumpy, kind of flaccid. Yeah, just a little bit. You know, we did have a potential support area to kind of keep your eye on. When we lost that potential area, we really came down to the lower side of our range, kind of waiting to see if we negate this secondary low. That might give us a little bit of a push towards the upside, and that's why I'm saying we are in an interesting spot here. We do have a little bit of sideways momentum on that MACD. We're starting to see our first bottoming indicators here on that prime oscillator. Your money flow still a little bit in the red here. Your volume is some sell volume as well. We'll kind of have to see what goes on as the day opens, especially with that CPI data. If things come out like I expect them to, just a little bit hot, then that really negates all those chances for a rate cut at the beginning of 2026. The thing that is making a lot of the crypto space way more bullish than they need to be, which I've seen quite a bit on X. I don't know how people are like the most bullish they've ever been on Ethereum right now, but yeah, I saw that the other day and I was like, okay, so we're just banking on rate cuts. But if that inflation comes out hot, big worry for those rate cut chances, could give you that push towards the downside, really negate the secondary low. We do have a little bit of liquidity on the higher term time frame that's way down here in that $81,000 range. So kind of keep your eyes on that. If we don't hold this 382 here on the macro, which is $84,000, you could really grab up that downside liquidity. Ranges at 81,000 all the way down to 79,000. So keep your eyes on some of that. We are at a very indecisive point on the MACD and that prime oscillator. If we continue with this selling pressure here on the higher term time frames, you could really get that next little rollover, negate this secondary low, kind of get a nice little push towards the upside. But for now, it seems like we're range bound in our range. We've talked about the sideways momentum, that top side being $94,000 and this bottom side being $84,000. Nice little $10,000 range here. For now, we're stuck between the midline of our fair value gap that we've been calling out over and over again, and this low here at $85,000. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at that 4 hour. We've got a nice little double bottom here that we were looking at. Really struggling though. We got this nice little wick towards the midline of our fair value gap before we immediately pulled back into our range here. We did hold that 236 on the daily. We did get some nice little wicks below that before we got that pushback directly towards where we saw resistance at the other day. That's close to that 50% line of our current range. We're seeing a few signs here on that 4 hour. Nice little bit of sideways momentum coming in on that MACD line, but we've got the start of some curvature back towards the upside, as well as some buying pressure starting to come in on the 4 hour as well. We'll kind of have to see if we can get a switch up of some volume and some money flow on the shorter term time frames that really give you a little bit of bleed over into this higher term time frame. You've got these oscillators both curving towards the upside here. The big thing is we are lacking some nice buy volume and buying pressure. We've got a lot of sell pressure to really contend with on that higher term time frame. So kind of keep your eyes on some of those upside levels. That first real area we need to break is going to be 88,200. That is the golden pocket of our current range here. Came in as some resistance before. You can see as soon as we broke above that, we've got a lot of sell pressure above that as well. So keep your eyes on that $88,000 point. A lot of resistance above that level. Taking a look at this 1 hour, you can kind of see that nice little deviation out above that golden pocket there. We did get that nice little bounce close to the downside of our range here before that London session really started to see a little bit of sell-off at that 50% line. You are getting that rollover here this morning as well. More just some sideways momentum with the rollover as we're trying to see if we hold that 382 this morning. We do have that interest rate decision as well. Could give London that little bit of a secondary bounce there. We do have that 50% line to kind of contend with this morning. That's going to be 87,500 there. So keep your eyes on this. We are getting just a little bit of sell-off for now. Your volume and your money flow here on the hour could get a little bit of continuation towards the upside. As you just got that break into some buying pressure, you've still got a little bit of sell volume to contend with, but we could very, very easily get that switch over from sell volume to some buy volume here, and we'll keep our eyes on that top side area at $85,000 there. Let's take a look at a 15-minute and the morning, see what things might be going on. As you can see, we've got that nice little bit of rollover as Asia got that nice little push up towards the 382. London session gave us that bounce continuation off of the 236 there. Just seeing a little bit of resistance at that 50 as we're getting that harsher roll over here on the 15-minute. We do have that switch up that we were talking about. We want to see bleed over into the higher time frame. We've got lots of buying pressure starting to come on in. We've got some nice buy volume as well. We just need to see that continue here. So the 382 would be that first little bounce point to kind of keep your eye on. I would like to see us negate that low between the Asia and London session. So 236 would be a harsher correction there. That gives you more momentum and more cool off to get a harsher bounce towards that golden pocket. We will kind of have to see if that 382 here holds at 87,000, or if we're really going to see that harsher correction that we're talking about on the higher term time frame and really negate this lower low from way back here. So keep your eyes on some of this. We do have a little bit of bullish news that could come out in the morning, and then see that secondary news drop with the New York session, get that harsher correction. So things are a little bit indecisive on the higher term time frames. You do see a little bit of some sell pressure on the shorter term time frames, but you definitely do have this nice solid range here, with that golden pocket being our top side resistance for now, 88,100. And we've got some nice support directly below us at the 236. So keep your eyes on that for now. We'll kind of have to see if we start losing those levels. You know what levels to look for on the downside. I did have that poll in the chat asking if we're going to have a recession in 2026. 62% are saying yes, and 38% are saying no. We'll kind of have to see what goes on with that, because we got a few news articles that are in line with that question there. Let's dive into this first one, and then we'll get over to the recession talks. We got Jay Violet in the house this morning. Good morning to you. Let's see. Bleed over? No. Bleed Bitcoin, bleed. Yeah, for now, I do think there is a little more downside potential. We'll kind of have to see, because I do think we get some short bounces in our current little range that we've made here before we really see that harsher move towards the downside. Holiday is going great. Got a bottle of peppermint schnapps for hot cocoa tonight. That sounds extremely nice there. I prefer like the apple cider with a little bit of alcohol. That one's always nice. Alcoholic apple cider. So let's see. We've got Luca in the house this morning as well. Good morning to you. Let's see. Piper, are you in Europe Christmas Village as we speak? Hey, if you're in the Discord, then you've seen all those pictures he's been dropping. He was over in Germany yesterday, so I don't know where he's headed to next, but I'm sure we will see all the pictures in the Discord. So missing out if you're not in the Discord, that link is at the top of the chat there. We've got the US Fed pulling guidance, blocking its banks from engaging with crypto. We've seen this over and over again, kind of told the banks that they're not allowed to custody crypto. They're not allowed to be involved in crypto. We did see the first crypto projects getting banking licenses last week, which we talked about. We'll kind of have to see further as a very friendly crypto administration decides it's going to take a little more guardrails off of crypto and kind of try to push it more mainstream. A lot of that is just so the president and his son can make some money, but at the same time, a little bit bullish for all of us crypto people. The U.S. Federal Reserve has withdrawn a 2023 guidance that limited how Fed supervised banks, including uninsured ones, engage with crypto, as U.S. regulators continue to pivot positively towards digital assets. The 2023 guidance required uninsured banks to follow the same rules as federally insured institutions, based on the principle that similar activities pose similar risks and should be subject to identical regulation. This prevented uninsured banks from engaging in activities that weren't permitted for national banks, like crypto services, which automatically disqualified Fed membership because the institution's primary activities weren't allowed. Fed says financial systems has evolved since 2023. The Fed said a key reason for withdrawing the guidance was that it was outdated and the financial systems and the board's understanding of innovation products and services have evolved. As a result, the 2023 policy statement is no longer appropriate and has been withdrawn. We will kind of keep our eyes on this going forward. Sent you two images, BC. They're relevant to the Recession 26 projected bottom timeline. Ooh, let's see. Yep, just got that. So Oh, oh, maybe not. Let's see. I'm not seeing the pictures though. I just see the tag. Is that in? Nope. Is it on the? Nope. Still not seeing it. So maybe it'll take a second. Maybe your internet's a little weird over there. But a nice little thing to kind of keep your eye on here. We are seeing more opportunities for traditional banking institutions to start to get involved in the crypto process, especially with the fact that a lot of these crypto projects are starting to be allowed to have their own banks, which means if they want to interact with the TradFi system and they're only using the payroll systems that are blockchain based, these traditional systems also need to adopt some of these crypto processes. They will need blockchain based payrolls. They will need to get involved. Yep, it just loaded there. They will need to have a POS system in these stores that also have crypto-based systems. So keep your eyes on this going forward. I do expect more and more of these banks to get involved in crypto. You've already got JP Morgan trying to bring up blockchain-based systems for their institutions. You've got PayPal already has 100 blockchains that it uses to move money around. So if you're using PayPal and you're sending money, you're not even using the traditional banking system anymore. You're using one of 100 blockchains. So keep your eyes on this. We will see more and more of this push going forward, because everyone wants their little slice of the pie when it comes to processing payments. I did see a few things on the recession as well. We'll get those pictures pulled up in just a second as well. Army Piper doing his part. So we did see this first little blinking red warning from an economist coming on out following the jobs data. You know, the jobs data that the Fed really started cutting rates over, and it's a lot hotter than they really seem to make it. They haven't been overly concerned about the jobs numbers. They did do a little bit of cutting, but at the same time, we're seeing inflation at some very worrisome spots, which does kind of increase those recession risks. An economist has warned that recent increase in America unemployment rate represents an especially concerning signal for the labor market and the wider U.S. economy. On X, Justin Wolfers, a professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan, said it's hard to tell whether the U.S. was already in an economic downturn, but pointed to the SOM rule as one concerning indicator. This hysteric employed by the Fed Reserve charts early stages of recessions by whether the employment rate's 3-month moving average has risen 0.5% relative to previous year's minimum level. As Wolfers noted, the 3-month average climbed to 4.5 for September to November after hitting a 4-year high in the Tuesday's job report, which Piper talked about in our Discord, really seeing that cool down in our economy, on top of your weakening jobs market and inflation being extremely high. All of these things together really give you some worries here, because it's the jobs, the jobs moving average is up 0.5% from last year's jobs, and it just seems to be accelerating. I did have another thing to talk about on top of that. It was a video, but you're seeing 7 of our biggest employers in the United States cutting jobs like crazy. You've got Amazon, they're looking at firing HR workers and using the money that they save from firing those HR workers to invest in the AI agent that will end up replacing the HR people. So this has been the move across the board, which is why those jobs aren't going to be coming back. If eventually I can just have a robot be my HR person, I'm probably going to spend more money investing on the HR, or the agent that's going to replace that HR. OC is covering I'm in Europe with crap Wi-Fi to stream. Um, yeah. So let's dive a little further into this one. Looks like YouTube is rugging me again. Oh my goodness. Uh, mhm. That's so weird because it's been streaming absolutely fine, but it looks like the stream looks all fine again. So why it matters? Talk of an impending recession eased in the fall after GDP growth figures came in ahead of expectations, and tariffs failed to result in as immediate or significant an increase in prices as some had feared. However, some economists continue to express fears that it would only take a few shocks, such as the AI bubble bursting, which we've talked about here as well. We've shown you the graph, how all of these AI companies are just investing in themselves. You've got OpenAI investing in NVIDIA, and then NVIDIA taking the money that it's gotten from AMD and other places and investing it right back into those companies. So it is just a big circle with no new money really coming in. The companies just invest in each other, and if that bursts, then it is a big downside turn because the Fed is just banking on our GDP and our growth all being in the AI sector. So keep your eyes on that one. What to know here. Wolfers, a frequent critic of the Trump administration's economic agenda, issued his warning following the Tuesday's unemployment report, which combined payroll figures for October and November, given delays to regular releases due to the government shutdown. The Bureau of Labor Statistics revealed the economy added 64,000 jobs in November, ahead of most forecasts, but shed 105,000 in October. That's a net negative there. So things are not really looking as good as they try to make it seem. This is not so good news if that isn't pretty. So kind of watch. We are seeing more and more recession risks come out across the board, and some states are already in recession. You know, you've got places like California just holding water here. You've got New York in that same position. But like Washington and Oregon and Montana and Wyoming, they're all at high risk or already in recessions. You've got Washington, D.C. already in a recession. You've got a few states that are in a growth economy, but they're really getting dragged down, especially since we have interstate commerce and things like that. Some states are doing a little bit better than others. But if you look at this, most of the country right now is barely treading water or is already at a high risk of recession or in a recession, which we will kind of watch as it goes forward. But I've been talking about 2026 being an ugly year, and it looks like that's the direction we're heading here. Let's get those images pulled on up from Piper. Pull this one up as well. He sent me a few images to kind of take a look at in lines with this recession talk. And let's see, Federal Reserve effective funds rate. Let's zoom this out a little bit so you can see it better. There we go. The majority of the decline in these bear markets occur after the Fed's pivot. Yeah, and that is quite in line. You know, the Fed is normally a little late to the party. You know, it's kind of hard to actually manage an economy, and they're normally late when they do these actions here. So the Fed pivots, and then you normally see that downturn in the economy, and they're just starting to pivot here as well. So let's get over to this other one. Historical composite gains possibly back-ended towards year end. 2026 stylized roadmap. So kind of in line what I was talking about too. Seeing a recession into Q2 and then Q3, really seeing those harsher corrections on the stock market, and then trying to get that bounce at the end of the year. So I have been talking about that. I've talked about it with a few friends as well. He's like, when do I start buying more assets? I'm like, well, now might be an okay time, but I think 2026 is going to be a better time. So keeping your eyes on that. Supreme Court overturns Trump's tariffs. We'll kind of have to keep our eyes on that. We do have March, meaning that new Fed chair coming in line. We'll kind of have to see if it's Trump's number one pick, because if it's Trump's number one pick, they were talking about doing 50 basis point rate cuts when Jerome Powell was like, maybe we cut. I don't think we really should, but we're going to for the jobs so that people can stay employed. And inflation's at 3% and they're cutting rates and people are losing jobs, which means that there's going to be less money in the system. And velocity is going to drop, which velocity is the key factor in actually having your economy do well. If you've got low velocity, then your economy in general is just going to start slowly going down. Inflation's slowly going to start creeping up. Your jobs are really going to be hampered because money isn't moving around extremely quickly. Demand levels are extremely low right now. All of these combined really, really give you extremely strong worries for recession. Bitcoin long bull run in 2026. I doubt it, but if that's how you're hoping to play it, I hope it plays well for you. For me, I've been mostly out of Bitcoin. I'm slowly doing some buying, but we'll have to keep our eyes because Bitcoin's not gonna do well as a risk asset if we're in a recession and the stock market's losing massively. So that's why I'm heavily cash right now and just taking trades and waiting for the best buy opportunities we're probably ever going to get, especially if all of that combined in a bear market with recession. You're going to get some of the best buy prices you've gotten in quite a long time. It is a little bit hopium, potential if the right factors align. If Bitcoin is seen as gold and digital gold and they really print heavy, then yeah, your Bitcoin might go up. But for now, I'm just going to play it off of the same cycle that we've seen over and over and over. And, that's the only way we can play it, because until a trend breaks, the trend is the only thing you can go off of. So keep your eyes on that. We are getting a little bit of a bounce on some gold. We've played a lot off of our fair value gap that we made when we got that push towards all-time high. We've still got our local resistance directly above us at 4,352. We're trying to hold the top side of our fair value gap right now, but we've got a lot of cool off to kind of keep your eyes on here. Money flows barely in the green on the 4 hour. I'm thinking 45. So pretty close to what I'm thinking for some bottoms on Bitcoin. I was thinking like that, like 38 to like 43, which I know it's not a pretty sight, but I still haven't changed my mind on it, especially when I was talking about 132 probably being the top on Bitcoin. I was pretty dang close. So we'll kind of have to see what happens, but I don't think we get super cycle, especially since most of these companies aren't even adopting these crypto projects that already exist. They're trying to make their own crypto projects, like Google. Google made GoogleFi or GLFI, and they're not going to adopt a crypto. They're trying to compete with XRP and make a cross-border payment system. Heading off to another Christmas market and German food. Ooh, sounds good. Have fun, Army Piper. Hopefully we see you in the chat tomorrow morning. So have fun, and I guess we'll see you at 2026 bright live again, because I'm pretty sure you said you were gone for 2 weeks. So have some fun, Army Piper. Gold looking like it could get a little bit of a downturn here if it doesn't hold the top side of our fair value gap. We've got a little bit of bouncing action off of it this morning, and we're trying to see if we can hold that all over again. 4 hour is getting some more rollover here. Same here. Seeing if we can get that nice little bounce off of that fair value gap top to try to get that next little push towards our local resistance. See if we can break through that and get that stronger push towards all-time highs. We are seeing a few signs here on the shorter term time frames. Hourly starting to catch a little bit of momentum all over again. You do have your money flow in the red. You do have your volume really starting to show something different though. You've got your buy volume really starting to increase here as your money flow really starts to tell a different story. Looking like a little bit of a head and shoulders on that. As you can see, you've got your low, your lower low, your higher low here starting to get that curve back up. If we get all of that confluence in line, we can break our local resistance here that was directly above us and try to get that push back up towards all-time high. Kind of keep your eyes on that. If we do have some negative data for the stock market, you could see gold get a little bit of a positive move towards the upside. 15-minute and the morning looking nice and cooled off as well. You just have a little bit of lack of some buy volume for now. We'll kind of have to see if we get that next little push down towards that fair value gap top, $4,315 for a stronger bounce. Keep your eyes on that. Money flow is in the red for the morning, and your volume is in the red as well. Really trying to get that better cool off, and $4,315 looks like that better bounce point. As you can see, we've held that for now. We do have a little bit of some wicking action on that 15-minute, but for the most part, most of our price action since the 16th has been above our fair value gap top there. So keep your eyes on that one. We did talk about silver the other day as well, and how it was in a nice little bit of a constricting price action. We were talking about some upside levels to really keep your eye on. If we broke above our resistance there, we got that nice little break above resistance, retest, and an absolute explosion to $67 there. So we are seeing a continuation of our uptrend for now. You do have this 4 hour still looking quite nice. It is getting a little bit of some cool off with some sideways momentum. Pretty much the same move we've been seeing on silver since it broke above our one line on our fib extensions here. We've got an open fair value gap top still, open fair value gap back here, which we pretty much ignored. You know, fair value gaps don't have to get closed. We've seen it over and over again, and this uptrend is not stopping anytime soon. So we've got a lot of signs on those higher term time frames that silver could just be getting started. It is getting that next little curve towards the upside on the weekly, getting that curve and switch over to green on that prime oscillator as your money flow and your volume really started to pick up here. You've got your daily time frame also seeing that curve towards the upside. Prime, that MACD running a little bit sideways here, but prime oscillator sitting in the red just a little bit as your money flow and volume just are starting to pick back up here. So we were in some sell volume here as we got that push towards the upside, and you're just starting to see it switch, meaning that you could get that next little move towards the upside, and we've been calling those levels out to kind of keep your eye on for some stronger resistance, and that's $78. That's at 1618 on our fib extensions there. I do expect a little bit of some sideways momentums eventually. Once we break some levels, we normally get some sideways momentum. We did break above our support or our resistance there. Could see some sideways momentum towards that little bit of a support line. And let's see what that 15-minute in the morning we're looking like for you. As you can see, that nice little bit of sideways momentum getting us some nice cool off on our MACD and prime oscillator. You do have that money flow switching from red to green this morning. You've got your volume really switching back and forth here. Not too unexpected, as we are in that little bit of a sideways range. And we would have to bring up a shorter term time frame fib extension here. So let's get that pulled on up to kind of see what levels to kind of keep your eye on in the meantime. So from our, nope, magnet's not on. Okay. From our lows to our high to our lows here, looking like we're trying to hold that golden pocket for now. So keep your eyes on that, getting a little bit of sideways momentum above that golden pocket. We got a little bit of a deviation towards the 50, and we're trying to make our move towards that platinum pocket. That's going to be 67.35. Next real area towards the upside to really keep your eye on the shorter term time frame is going to be $69. So keep your eyes on some of that. Nice little cool off with this sideways momentum. Really trying to see that money flow hold steady on that 4 hour there, and then we can get that next leg towards the upside. We did talk about the Dixie as well. We've got a little bit of a bounce in our current range here, but we've got plenty of resistance above us. We were ultimately looking for that downside target closer to our support line. That's way down at $97. We're starting to see a few bottoming indicators here on that prime oscillator, but not really getting any heavy curvature back towards the upside. MACD getting some curvature, prime oscillator getting some curvature, but everything's still looking red here. So kind of keep your eyes on that. We've got a lot of sell volume to contend with on the Dixie. Your bonds aren't looking amazing either. Let's get that pulled on up over here. Your bond market absolutely getting crapped on the higher term time frames, as you can see coming on down, which means you're seeing a lot of sell off in your higher term bonds, which means that Dixie's going to continue to lose some strength. Anything 10-year and up getting some sell off means that your Dixie's going to continue losing some strength there. We are in a little bit of an uptrend on the 10-year, but you've got some nice strong support way down there in that 3% range. So keep your eyes on that. Short-term bonds are going to be the ones that are going to get bought up in 2026 by the Fed. So a lot more pressure on the shorter term time frame there. Do we got any alt requests for the day? We've got some time to take a look at a few things before we wind the show on down, and I head over to work. So let's see if we got anything to take a look at. We did want to take a look at some Solana, because Solana was getting that nice move towards our golden pocket before it lost the golden pocket. What was a level of support is now coming in as some resistance. Zooming this on out, taking a look at that daily time frame, you can really see that push below towards the downside of our sideways range here. This has been a level that was support and looking like it's coming in as some resistance this morning. You've also got your MACD and your prime oscillator looking a little bit bearish as that MACD gets that cross. Oh, wrong button there. We've got that MACD getting that cross below our indicator line. You've got your money flow really coming out with some hard strength here, as you can see, heavily in the red, looking to make that new low here. So we will kind of have to keep our eyes on some lower levels, that next real short-term area to kind of keep your eye on for some bouncing. Wrong one, horizontal ray. That's going to be a 118. So if we can't get above a 123 and get back towards that golden pocket level at 125, Next real area to kind of keep your eye on is 118 as a potential support area. We do have that money flow in the red on the daily. You zoom this on in, take a look at that 4 hour. 4 hour starting to look a little bit bottomed here, but you really got a lot of sell volume to contend with, and your money flow's barely in the green. So a little bit of sideways momentum at resistance. Could see that next sell push towards the downside. If we do get a little bit of a break above 123, that golden pocket would most likely come in as resistance at 125. That hourly getting that push up towards our resistance, starting to see that sell off. You're getting a little bit of a curvature towards the upside here, but your money flow and your volume sitting in the red, trying to get that break back towards some buy volume. Keep your eye on that shorter term time frame though, because if you're not seeing that switch up and bleed over into the higher term time frame, then things are looking just a little bit bearish with those higher term time frames there, especially as you're below your indicator lines on your MACD. You've got that MACD getting some curvature and some sideways momentum here on the shorter term time frame as well, and the money flow is really going to push you in one direction or another. You're getting that roll over here, and you're losing your buy volume on that 15-minute. So morning could be a little bit bearish. You might get that push up towards stronger resistance though. That gives you that stronger push down. So kind of keep your eyes on some of that there. We do have a lot of levels towards the downside to kind of keep your eye on for some support, especially if we get some negative news on that data drop this morning. Let's see, any alt requests or stock requests. Not seeing any just yet. I'll pull up one more thing that I was kind of looking at. Link, also getting some deviations to the bottom side of our little range there. We're kind of keeping our eyes on some levels. That strong level for support was $11.88. We could still get that bounce off of that level there. You can kind of see it came in as support before. Let's get this zoomed on out. Take a look at that 4 hour there, because that 4 hour starting to look nice and bottomed, but you do still have a lot of sell pressure to contend with here as well. Getting a little bit of sideways momentum coming in on that MACD, a little bit of sideways on that prime oscillator as well. Trying to get that curvature back towards the upside, but heavily sitting in some sell pressure, with that trend being a sell off, and your volume and money flow both being red here on the 4 hour. So a lot to contend with. We did drop below a support area that was 1235. We got that bounce up to it, saw it come in as resistance for a harsher push towards the downside. Trying to get that push towards the upside this morning, but starting to see a little sideways momentum coming on in on that MACD. Prime oscillator getting a little curvature, but we've got that sell pressure to contend with. Like we've been saying across the board, there is a lot of sell pressure that we've got to contend with. 15-minute in the morning to get a little push towards resistance, looking a little bit overheated here, starting to see your first reversal signals on that top side as your MACD runs a little bit sideways. You're getting that curvature back towards the upside, and you've got a little bit of buy volume, but you've got that resistance directly above us. That could give you that harsher push towards the downside. A little bit of a retest on our lows from this range might be in play. That's about $12.47 if you can get a little bit of a push above our resistance level. So keep your eyes on that one. That's the lows from back there. We did get a little bit of a test on it as well. For now, we're directly above that resistance at 1235, and that could be that move that pushes us to 1188. I see XLM requested. We can take a quick look at that, and then we'll probably end up winding the show down, because I got to get ready for work. So XLM getting that break below. Let's see what's going on that 4 hour. I guess we got to redraw some lines there. Looking like that was a resistance level. We got a little bit of a bounce off of it, and then broke below it. So let's get this one deleted. See what's going on with some XLM. We're at some crucial points right now. We've got our platinum pocket directly below us on that fib retracement. Zoom it on out so you can see that just a little bit better there. That's from our initial push towards the upside. We've held our platinum pocket over and over again, so kind of keep your eyes on that. If we break below that platinum pocket, things don't look too pretty. With that next real level to kind of keep your eyes on are going to be our highs. So we've got 19.5 cents being that first real area to keep your eye on. Let's make that a little bit thicker. We've got this next level down here to keep your eye on, 16.5 cents. So that's that next real area towards the downside to keep your eye on. If we lose that platinum pocket, we've got the daily, this 4 hour looking nice and bottomed here. You've got a little bit of sell pressure to contend with. So I would like to see us break above our current range here. Let's zoom it on in, take a look at that 1 hour, see if we can get that break above our local resistance. That's coming in at 21 cents. If you can get that break above there, you've got that next real area towards the upside being 22.5 cents. So let's get a short-term level pulled on up here. Make that thinner so you can see its short-term time frame resistance. We would need to break above our highs from here, 21, to really get that stronger push towards the upside. Hourly is looking nice and bottomed here as well, getting that curvature towards the upside, but seeing a little bit of sideways momentum coming on at MACD. We've got a little bit of sell volume to contend with. So let's see if that 15-minute in the morning can get a little bit of a better cool off. That rejection off of resistance at about 21 cents. Get that stronger push towards that platinum pocket for a better bounce towards the upside. So kind of keep your eyes on a little bit of those stronger support levels. We do have that platinum pocket being that nice strong support at 20.5 cents there. That could give you that stronger push towards 22 cents and our local resistance there. So keep your eyes on some of that. 15-minute looking just a little bit toppy here as it tries to get that next push towards our local resistance. So pretty much looking similar across the board. Morning might get a little bit of a bounce towards resistance for a stronger correction towards our better support areas. Pretty much looking the same across the board there. But it is a 5:54 and about time for me to play some music so we can send you over to JR. I think he's going live directly after me. So make sure to tune into the rest of the shows here on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. Eastern time with the OC takeover. He's doing a great job. I haven't been able to chime in on the chat since I'm back at work. But I believe he's also going live at 7 p.m. with Trading with OC. So make sure to tune into the rest of those shows so you are fully prepared for what is going on with the day. But until next time, make sure to wake up because today's going to be a good day.
Wake up, let's run it. Charts up, we love it. Backpack, we done it. GM, good morning, we run it. Sunrise hits like a highlight reel. Coffee poured, yeah, this grind feel real. Wallet looking healthy like a post-gym meal. Crypto fam locked in, no off-day deals. Throwing shade, now we throw confetti. Market bounce back, hands strong, we steady. Dreams too big, so the doubts feel petty. Bull mode hitting, hope you're ready. We ain't stressing, we pressing, blessing the session. Turn every rejection to fuel for progression. Charts look clean, yeah, the vibe is a weapon. We build every day, this is compounding lessons. GM GM, we rise, we go. Good morning, crypto, steal the show. GM, get hype, let's grow. Another day up, yeah, we glow. Hands to the sky like let's get paid. Chase big goals, not just upgrades. GM bull energy all day. Smile up, we're built this way. No fear, just flips and vibes. Turning old dreams into real life strides. Hard days hit, we don't divide. Team eats together when the market rides. Tap in early, that sunrise hustle. Bear tried to break us, couldn't touch muscle. Stack small wins, that's compound muscle. Every new block, another flex, no struggle. Climb fast, no breaks, no doubt. Big cheers when the green breaks out. Crypto fam in the chat, full shout. We don't clock in, we break out. Oh! 3M, we rise, we go. Good morning, crypto, steal the show. GM, get hype, let's grow. Every candle's just fuel, let's blow. We don't watch life, we make waves. Another sunrise, another brave day. GM fam, let's go be great. Good morning, crypto. Press play. Wake up, smile.